Welcome to Friday's DJ Force 10 in Conversation. This is episode 127. My special guest on today's show is none other than Jim Davies, former Pitchshifter, former Prodigy guitarist, former Victory Pill, Flint, loads of other stuff. He's continued within music. You'll find out in the interview. But yeah, it was absolute pleasure to speak to him because I'm a big fan of Pitchshifter. Specifically the era that he was involved as well. We talk about that. We talk about his new album, Headwars, which is out now. So go stream it. Pause this podcast, go to your nearest streaming app and stream that album. If you love like sort of the hybrid rock metal sound that I am extremely passionate about, go listen to it. It's fantastic. I can't say anything more than that. It's incredibly like kind of it's very diverse, goes up, goes down in tempos and stuff. But it's great. We chat about loads of stuff in this interview, so we'll have that up in a minute. I just want to give my Friday shout outs to people. Thank you for downloading the previous week's worth of shows. I hope you've enjoyed them. We had Therafoster on Monday, Chemists on Tuesday, Royals on Wednesday, and From Ashes to New on Thursday, which was yesterday. And we've got Jim Davies today again. But yeah, no, thank you again. I'm loving doing this, speaking to all these bands and stuff. Got loads for next week. I've started my DJ series as well. So I'm going to have some DJs on the show. I've already wrapped up an interview with DJ Woody, which again was fantastic to chat to him. I've got a few others booked in now. I'm not going to reveal it until they happen, just in case something comes up in this time. But also some more fantastic bands coming your way as well. So yeah, look out for those, or keep your ears peeled, or whatever you do with your ears. But yeah, no, absolutely fantastic to hear from some of you guys on the socials. Really appreciating the feedback. Please continue leaving reviews and stuff. That's been absolutely amazing so far on various platforms. Follow me on Spotify, all the sort of things you can do on there. But anything to sort of help elevate the podcast, to help the bands, to help everyone that's kind of involved with this. And yeah, like I said, I don't do this for money or anything. I'm not selling you an advert. I'm just asking to get the exposure for these bands. I do this for a passion for music. Although there was one advert thing that I did see come out that I may take up on, because I do enjoy a cup of coffee, and there is one where you can buy me a cup of coffee, which sounds amazing. I might look into it a little bit further, but you might hear me ask for a cup of coffee. But then again, I might not. You never know. It depends if it feels right or not. But I hope everyone's well. I know this is still weird times indeed. But I hope this is giving you something to sort of occupy your mind for a little bit. Certainly giving me that sort of that impetus, and I'm feeling a lot better about certain things. Been feeling up and down as most people have been. But sort of getting my teeth into a lot of things. So we'll see where that leads. As for now, I'm going to leave you with the interview with Jim Davies. Enjoy. Okay, on my show today I have Jim Davies. He is a former Pitchshifter guitarist and Prodigy guitarist. Welcome, Jim.
Hello, nice to be here.
Nice. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. I haven't been very productive at all today, though.
No.
I'm sort of up and down. Some days I'm thinking this lockdown business, going to get loads of tunes done. I'm going to really make it work. And then today I've literally spent all day playing Resident Evil 3 on the Xbox. So
that's not a total waste of time.
Well, no, I've been playing a game that's all about hunting for a vaccine to a zombie virus. So it doesn't feel much different to normal life, does it?
No, exactly. I was going to say it's perfectly apt for this time and moment. So, that is a game actually I'm looking to get. Is it any good? It's obviously a remake, but is it good?
Oh, mate. Well, it's just one of my favourite games. I've always played like from PlayStation 1 upwards. And there's certain games that I've just always loved, and I think Resident Evil and Doom and Quake. Yeah. I must have played every single version of those games throughout the years. But these new remakes of Resident Evil are really good. Really, really good.
Nice.
So I'm enjoying that. And Doom Eternal, that
Yes.
was really good as
Yeah,
well.
that's
wasted a lot of time doing that last week.
That game is it's on my to get list, definitely. I'm sort of like waiting. I'm finishing some. I'm being really good. I'm finishing games that I've got already. So, but
so it's weird. I can already feel it all descending to into madness. Like the first couple of weeks of this, I was saying to my friends, I'm going to really use this time. I'm going to do a couple of tunes a week, and I'll have another album done by the end of it. And then fast forward 2 weeks, and I'm just on the Xbox all day.
Yeah.
So,
no, I've had kind of the same thing. I've been sort of keeping like active, doing or not say active. I've been doing like painting things. I do like little miniature wargaming thing, so it's a little bit geeky. But I've managed to go through and almost finish that, and I've kind of stopped on the last batch. So I'm like, once this is done, then they're done. So I've gone to video games along with homeschooling my kids and stuff as well. I don't want to sound like I'm an irresponsible parent, but
I don't have any kids, so I can just sit around
you can do whatever
playing.
you want on that front.
Exactly.
I have to set a precedent for them, unfortunately.
You do.
So, but playing Doom in front of a 10-year-old is always fun. So, it's
they've got to learn, haven't they? They've got to learn.
Oh, they do. I played a lot worse when I was 10. I think I actually played Doom and Quake and Duke Nukem probably around that age. I don't know.
Look, I think it's very important that in the future that young children know how to handle a shotgun, because
totally.
I think they're going to need to.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in America for a bit, so yeah. We lived in.
Someone steps over that 2 meter mark in Sainsbury's.
Oh yeah, totally. You
blow their legs off.
Tell them to back the fuck up. It's like. So, I was going to say, so I lived in Florida for like 5 years or so, and like you just watch people carrying there. You can go to a gun range. It's perfectly normal. And then coming back here, it was very strange. So it was.
I went out with a girl once from Florida, and went to meet her parents, and first thing her dad said was, "Want to go and shoot some cans, some Mexicans?" And I was like, "Oh, right. Oh God."
Oh dear.
And then next thing I know, I'm in the garden shooting like all these cans, and then he's like trying to get me to go out alligator shooting, and I was thinking, no. I have to admit, I do like guns, though. I collect old World War II guns.
Oh really?
World War I.
Oh wow.
So I've got quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And I'm in the old days when you could go outside, I do a lot of skeet shooting, clay pigeon shooting and stuff like that. I have actually got a loft full of shotguns. Which is handy in these times.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my dad, he's not with us anymore, but he used to do that, go clay pigeon shooting, and used to look after his friends' farms while they were away, and obviously, shoot vermin and whatnot. So,
that's the weird thing. I would never. I'm actually like I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't shoot anything live. I wouldn't go hunting. I wouldn't do anything like that. I'm quite sort of animal rights and stuff. But shooting clay bloody targets isn't really too much of a problem. But
no,
I definitely wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, he never shot anything in front of us, the kids. Like.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But then I know when he'd go out and do it, because obviously he was maintaining this guy's farm. So, you know. But,
I'm not really, I try not to, I'm not all political about it. And, I wouldn't go out on protests and demonstrations, but it's just not for me. It's just, it's different, isn't it? If you're brought up on country.
If you're brought up in that
way
area.
Of life. But, so.
Cool. Well,
there you go.
We're as sidetracked as we got just then into that.
Yeah, people are going to be listening to this going,
where's this going? But no, I really want to talk about your new album. Obviously, you probably want to talk about it, or you might be tired of it already. But
that's good.
But no, I've been following you for a little while. Like, as in, I knew you from back in Pitchshifter days, and obviously the Prodigy and stuff like that. Like, I saw you play with Pitchshifter so many times at like the Astoria and stuff like that.
Oh, they were my favourite gigs.
Yeah,
I miss that place.
No, so do I. And I just I went to London recently, and it's not there anymore.
No, it's really. I felt really like a real proper sad old bastard. A couple of months ago, in the old days, when you could go outside.
Yeah,
I was walking around Tottenham Court Road with my wife, and we walked past where the Astoria was, and she never saw me play. She's never seen me play live ever in a band, so she probably thinks I'm making all this up. But walked past the Astoria, I went, "Oh, this is a brilliant venue. We used to play here," and She was like, oh yeah, well there's nothing here now, are you sure? And I was like, honest, this used to be amazing, this place. But that was my favourite gig.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. I remember seeing you guys, I think it was just before the .com came out, the .com album, which you were part of to start with. You played a very small show down my way. I live in that sort of Camberley area. Sorry. No, it was the Agincourt in Camberley.
Oh, I know the one. Sorry, I thought you meant a small show in London.
No.
Actually, yeah, I know what you mean. I do remember that because one of the very first ones I ever did with Pitchshifter, sure, is at the garage.
Yeah, and
then it might have been that one. The next one was
like a
Camberley
festival
one,
or something.
But I do remember. Yeah.
But I was just like back there because I'd seen Pitchshifter before you were in it, and they were a bit more industrial, a bit darker. They were playing with a bunch of other earache bands at the time, so I think it was like Neurosis and I can't remember what the other band was. I should really remember, but I don't.
The funny thing is, I was exactly the same as you. I used to go and see them before I met them, but I was well into them. As a fan, I used to go and stage dive and Infotainment. I still think it's a brilliant album.
That is, it's a very good album.
Yeah, I used to go and stage dive, and even before I met the band, I was a fan of them. So
yeah, that's really cool to know because it's like I didn't know how I was about to ask how you got involved with them. How did that come about? Because they sort of shifted in sort of set on. I mean, Infotainment was kind of that bridge from where they were to where they sort of when you did .com, and I was just sort of how did you get involved with that?
Well, it's a bit of a weird one, really. I mean, after I finished my first stint with playing with The Prodigy, I didn't really know what to do really with myself. I had a lot of time on my hands and going to a lot of gigs. Yeah. And I just went to see Pitchshifter, and I remember talking. I used to be really terrified of Mark, which is funny because I know him so well now. He's such a gentle bloke, but obviously when he was on stage, he looks like that thing out of Predator, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's just terrifying if you don't know him. You don't want to catch his eye because he looks like he's going to just lean over and bite your face off. So I was at a couple of gigs, and I just met him, went up afterwards and said, "Hello, I'm Jim, really big fan of your band," and I didn't say anything. And then I went to another gig. I think it was an Astoria gig at LA2.
Yeah.
And I was upstairs in that little after show bit, and I bumped into John. And then I think John was aware of what I'd done sort of previously.
Yeah.
And he just gave me. He had a demo tape. He actually had a demo tape with .com with. I think they were still pitching it around to labels and stuff, and it had Microwave Police. I think it only had a couple of tunes on it, maybe WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
Probably not. I can't remember, but he just gave me it, and we kept in touch. And I just went home and made a demo tape of me playing over Please Sir, and another one. I think it was actually only Please Sir. And then we kept in touch, and they just said, "Do you want to come up to Nottingham and do you want to do a guest thing on the album?" And I was, really chuffed with that.
Yeah.
Because they were my favourite band at the time.
Nice.
So I was thinking, this is brilliant. Well chuffed. So I went up to Nottingham, and I think I was intending to stay for a weekend and just be in the studio with them and do Lisa. But then we got on really well, and then John and Johnny, the other guitarist at the time, just kept going, right, what about this tune? What can you do on this one? Then they'd load up, I don't know, WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll have a go on that. And then what can you do on this one? So by the time I ended up staying for a couple of weeks, and then by the time I left, I'd played on quite a few tracks on the album. And in the back of my mind, I was hoping, surely, have I done enough? Do you think? I wonder if they'll ask.
Yeah.
Have I played on so many of the tunes that they'll ask? And eventually they did. And they said, "Do you want to join?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I do."
Yeah.
So but that wasn't nailed on. I only went up there to guest on the album.
Yeah.
But luckily, I played enough all over it that. But it was weird for them. Looking back at it now, it must have been hard for them to get someone new in the band because it was Mark and John. That was their baby from really early teens, and it still is. So it must have been tricky having some new, some bloke from Essex they've never met before coming in. But they were really open to all the ideas that I had. Yeah. So, with .com, I see what I did as just sticking a bit of colour on top of, from a guitar point of view, just making more sort of interesting textures and layers on that album. I couldn't ever hold my hands up and say I sort of wrote much of that album at all, because I didn't.
Yeah. But
it led to, obviously, them being fully involved in all the stuff after that. Me and John sort of wrote the rest of it. Deviant and the Un-UK stuff.
Yeah.
What was the other one? PSI and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. No, that's really cool, because I followed you guys for so long, and I was I was a member of your street team and all that. So I'm coming from a fan's point of view. Like, when I was that young, I was like fully into what you guys were doing. I've still got a bunch of like the old propaganda flyers and stuff you guys used to throw out.
I was the same as you before I got into the band. So it was good. I mean, that's what I loved about being in that band. There was the fans were so hardcore and so sort of devoted that, you know, we knew we could always do well. You know, we toured a hell of a lot all around the world. We always knew that. Well, for me personally, I was always excited when I knew we were going to do a UK tour, because we all just knew it would be great and we'd probably sell it out. But off the back of that, we probably would come off of a couple of weeks in Europe playing to very few people. So, yeah, it was always good. No,
that's cool. That's cool. I mean, like I said, I saw you guys so many times at the Astoria and various other, I think, festivals and trying to think if there was anywhere else at the time, but just because I was part of the street team, I was usually at most of the shows in London, like handing out CDs or flyers, or you know, if it was For You or 1 Minute Silence, Mudvayne, and stuff like all the bands of that time, you know, sort of getting involved on that level, and it was really cool because it was just like, you know, I just enjoyed watching you guys play. And then I went to go see the reunion shows. Was it a year and a half ago? Must have been about a year and a half ago. I went up to the Nottingham show for that one, just purely because as much as I love the garage in London, I just don't like going in and out of London. So I figured, you know what, I'll drive up to Nottingham. So me and the wife,
Rock City was great.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and I'd not been there for years, so I was like, you know, let's do that. And you had the Blueprint, you had Earth Tone 9 as well as your support, which was great as well. Another couple of bands that were of my sort of youth, if you will. It was. What I was going to ask is why weren't you part of that? What was the sort of like? Did you get the opportunity to, or was it just sort of?
Well, it wasn't. No, I honestly can say hand on heart that I didn't even know it was happening.
Okay.
I didn't. I was completely unaware of it. I was sat there watching telly one night, and a few of my mates texted me and went, "Fucking hell, look, you're going back on tour then? I thought you'd had enough and all that." And I was like, "I've no idea what you're talking about." And then I sort of had announced it. But you know, I just hadn't been in contact with the band for a long time, and you know, I don't think there was any weirdness. Okay. But you know, I left the band in 2002 or 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just one of those things, really. I'm sure from John and Mark's point of view, it's their band. It's up to them who they want to do it, and they've got Dan and Tim, friends of mine that do the guitars now and do a good job. And so you know, it was no weirdness involved, but I literally didn't even know it was happening.
Okay,
so.
That's right.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because like they didn't have the full original lineup from then. So it's Mark and John. And even was it Jason Bowles? He wasn't part of it either, was he?
No, he's doing Bullet now.
Yeah, he's doing Bullet now. So you know, he was very busy with those. So, I was just curious as to sort of like if there was anything, not if there was any like animosity between you, but it was just more like why weren't you being a part of it? That was all. So,
the answer to that is I honestly don't know. There's no answer to that because I didn't even know it was happening. Okay. So it wasn't even like I was asked to do it and I said no, or I approached and asked them to do it and they said no. Nobody just talked to anybody. So they just announced it, and I think they've had the same sort of live lineup since I left.
I was going to say.
So they probably, in their minds, they probably didn't think they needed to announce who was doing it because the band lineup had been the same. But I suppose it makes sense that, you know, people like yourself who are hardcore fans and there in the day, when you see a tour that's announced and it's .com, but you might think about that lineup. But I mean, a lot of bands do it, don't they? They sort of get the lineups that were on those albums and then play that album from start to finish. But I don't think that was the case with Shifter for that tour. I think they wanted to go out and play again, and they didn't see any need to tweak the lineup. But you know, we're in touch again now, as you probably know, because Mark played on my album, and yeah, it's all cool.
No, that's all good. That's all good. So, just sort of like before we get onto your album, actually, I was just going to ask you a few things. Like after Pitchshifter, you did obviously a few things. One of which I've got in front of me right now. I've got a promo for your group you did with Keith Flint. I've got Aim 4 promo disc. So I'm just looking at. I was just trying to sort of after Pitchshifter, you sort of jumped into a few of these things. What was your what was your reason for kind of walking away from it? What was because obviously, like you said, you sort of stopped playing or stopped, in being in a band as such. What was the sort of reason behind that? Was it just sort of general sort of fatigue, or was it?
Yeah, but I think with me, the thing is, I started playing quite, when I first started playing, with big bands and big tours and stuff, I was 21 and fresh out of university, didn't know my arse from my elbow, and was thrown in properly at the deep end. And then obviously when I joined Pitchshifter, we toured for about 8 or 9 years, full on, 9 months of the year, which is great. But I had the time of my life. I wouldn't sort of change it for anything. But looking back, when you start to get into your late 20s, you start thinking, I've been doing it a while now. And you see all your friends settling down with houses and long-term girlfriends, and you're just still out there rampaging around the world, coming home, not even having a home to come to. You sort of just end up surfing on people's sofas in between tours. Yeah. And that's cool for a certain age. And then, I've done a few bands after I left Pitchshifter and done a few other projects. I've done the Victory Pill albums. That was my thing. And that was a very hard, as much as I loved it and I liked the albums, it was hard work because it was all self-funded. There was no record company there. And, there's no one putting on the gigs for you like it used to be in the old days, when you've got agents and stuff like that. Yeah. It's hard work, and it just it ends up sort of just dragging you down a bit. You end up just thinking, I'm not quite sure I'm enjoying this anymore. And I think I got to my early 30s and just thought, I've got to start thinking ahead a little bit because I don't want to be one of those sad old bastards in their 50s still trying to be like, I'm going out doing some kicks down the Frog and Ferret. Yeah, I'm punk. And it's just sad. It's all right if you're the Sex Pistols, but you've got to have a bit of dignity. And I thought, I'm not doing that. It's just not my thing. And I just ended up sort of doing a few. I don't know. I think I just got fed up with all the touring around, and because it kills. It's such a cliche thing to say, but you spend all the time traveling around, and then you get to do the gig. And if it's a good gig, you think, that was all worth it. Hanging around all day for that gig, that was brilliant. But if it's a bit of shit, then you start thinking, I'm wasting a lot of time here, and time's ticking. And I just started doing a bit of session work for some electronic DJs, and asking them, what's this for? Is this for an album? And they were like, no, this is for production music for TV. So I was like, okay. And then I started noticing that, they're doing all right out of it. And I thought, well, hang on a minute, this could be a way for me to. I didn't want to stop doing music altogether. Yeah. But I just wanted to do the bit that I enjoyed the most, which has always been the creative bit, sitting in the studio writing. That's always been my favourite bit. So that's what I sort of just slipped into doing that, really. So almost overnight, I just stopped playing in bands. And I don't think I've played live. Just have to look online. There is evidence. So it's just. I think it's just one of those things. I just try to think ahead a lot. Sometimes that's a good thing. Yeah. But I do overthink a little bit. So I was just thinking. I sort of knew that because after PSI, the band were dropped by Sanctuary, and I just thought, well, that's not good. And a few other opportunities came up, and some other bands that wanted me to work with them, and I'd done a bit of that. And so I don't know. It just got to a point where I was thinking I need to be thinking ahead. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Thinking a bit more business minded, and because when you're in your early 20s and stuff, you don't care about all that sort of stuff. No, you're just having the time of your life. Yeah, visiting all these countries you never thought you'd go and see. You don't really think of the bigger picture. But I suppose it's just, I don't know, you get to that point in life where you start thinking, hang on a minute, I need to start getting my shit together a little bit. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's a sensible. I mean, it's sensible. It is sensible, but it's a sort of place I found myself as well, because I went into being in a band as well, and when that sort of came towards its end, it was like, you know, I'm almost 30. What am I going to do now? I sort of like, I dabbled in kind of like the hired gun game, you know, where you kind of go and play in other bands and stuff like that, and played around with like some other different like sort of like parts of bands. Like I was a sort of electronic like DJ part of a rock band for the longest time.
Oh, cool.
And so I was doing all like scratches and all that kind of stuff, and I ended up being a vocalist in a band for like a couple of years after that, you know, just because it was something different. But then it was like kind of what I need to start thinking about, because I've got a family, I've got a wife, got kids, and it's just sort of, you got to start thinking long term and everything, which is, you know, it is sensible, but it doesn't, like, you know, and I still sort of like occasionally make music, but I'm more of I go out and DJ now, so I'll DJ rock.
But the funny thing is, I think with me is just, you know, sometimes, you know, I get asked quite a lot. Most of the time, it's my bloody mum and dad and my friends go, "Don't you miss it? Don't you miss it?" And occasionally, you know, if I'm watching, if I can bear to watch like Glastonbury, if there's a few like bands I like on Glastonbury, I'll watch it and go, and have a few flashbacks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's really good when it's really good, and it's shit when it's shit.
Yes.
Because, you know, with Pitchshifter, we had both ends of the scale completely. You know, we'd have brilliant tours of England, and then we'd go to Australia and we'd just play to absolutely no one, literally no one.
Yeah.
And it's pretty soul destroying. So when it's good, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are guilty of just remembering good gigs, and you don't remember that 12-hour drive through Australia.
Yep.
You know, with no AC.
Yep.
To play to absolutely no one man in his kangaroo. So
yeah, literally.
occasionally I get a little. I think it would have to be something pretty good. I don't think I'd I think it'd be ridiculous to form a new band and try and go out like that.
Yeah.
But if something really, really good come up, I'd think about it. But it would have to be something pretty good, I think, because I'm pretty settled.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And I was going to say, because you mentioned that you're going into like the sort of production side of things, and obviously for yourself as well as other bands as well, because I know you work with Seething Akira, which were the boys from down.
Yeah, good bunch.
Yeah,
well, that was a weird thing. That's the only other thing I've when I say production music, that's basically like a posh term for music for TV. So it's music that goes on behind TV productions.
Yeah, like sync and
so
stuff.
That's what I do. Yeah, so that's what I do. But they sent me some of their stuff, Stephen Akira, and I could sort of hear what they wanted to do, but they couldn't quite sort of realise the sound they wanted. So I could hear they were quite sort of influenced by some of the stuff that Pitchshifter used to do.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good to get involved with them, but I don't see myself moving into producing bands or anything like that.
No,
I think that would be, because I can remember what I was like working with producers, and I don't want to produce me in some. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I'm quite happy sort of working on my own, to be honest. I like it.
No, that's fair enough. Well, let's actually get onto your album. I know we've tried to, but we'll try now. So it's called Headspace. It is out now. Headwars. Sorry.
Close.
That's right. Let's try that again. It's called Headwars, and I'm going to leave that. I'm not even going to edit that. No. But no, it's really good. I really like. I got sent a couple of the tracks to start with. I got Ticking Time Bomb initially, and I was like, oh, I like this. This is like the kind of sound I'm into, because I had a show like on Total Rock, different from this show. It was just purely music based, and it was purely for like electronic and like rock metal music crossover.
Yeah.
So like obviously bands like Seething Akira, stuff like that, were all like, you know, and Pitchshifter, all fall into that gap. And I was just like, I was like, oh my god, this is great, I love it. And then I got one of the tracks you did with Tut Tut. Trigger. That's it, Trigger Finger. I was it was really good. And then I obviously heard the whole album and really enjoyed it. But I was just sort of like wanting to sort of delve a little deeper into it. So, you know, what was the sort of like, why did you feel it was the sort of right time to bring out some solo material when you've kind of been doing sync and stuff for a while now, and
Yep.
Pitch, obviously, the things have now passed along, and why now? I think is the question I wanted to get out of my mouth. Then
that's a good question. You got there in the end.
I got there in the end.
I think what it is for me, I stopped doing all the band stuff literally overnight, and then I sort of went into this whole new sort of type of musical career of writing music for TV and film, and it was a big learning curve for me, because in the old days, with Pitchshifter and stuff like that, I wasn't into production. I didn't get involved in any of that. I couldn't care less. No, I wasn't. I've worked with some really good producers and a few pretty poo ones, but I never really spent any time sort of on their shoulder going, "Oh, what's he doing to that compressor? Oh, that EQ." All I was doing was sitting there going, "Come on, get to the guitars, get to the top, come on." And then, when are we going out tonight? When are we going out? So, I couldn't care less about that. But when I started getting into doing the music for TV, I realised pretty quick that I probably wasted a lot of time when I should have learned all that stuff. So over a very short period of time, I just sort of got my head down and taught myself how to do all that. And so over the last 10 years, I've written probably thousands of bits of music, and all different genres and different styles, and stuff that I didn't think I could do, stuff that I thought, because I've always had that little anxiety devil on the shoulder going, "Oh, you're not a producer, you can do that." So with some of the other albums I've done in the past, I've had people helping me to produce it, people helping me to mix it, and I've never trusted myself, never thought I could do it. So I think over the last 10 years, I've just written so much music and built up a big catalogue of music out there that does really well. So I just thought, a couple of years ago, well, you brought yourself some time, and you don't need to be working your arse off every day. Why don't you start doing a few tunes just for yourself? So I literally just done a couple of tracks just for fun. Because normally what I do is I write to a brief. The company I write for sends me a brief, and I do a lot of dark, sort of cinematic electronic stuff. I don't do all that ukulele whistling bollocks. The stuff I do is far more sort of crime programs and dark stuff.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I was writing, and I was thinking, this is good stuff, and it could be released as an album, but you've got that thing of, well, I don't want to go on tour, and you've done all that, so why would you want to go back on tour and form a band? But then I just thought, well, you don't have to do it like that. Why don't you just do an album of your own stuff? And there's no pressure. There's not like my house is hanging on it doing well or anything like that. I thought it would just be fun. So I wrote a couple of tracks and played them to a few friends, and they were like, "Yep, this is cool. You should carry on." So I very quickly put together 4 or 5 tracks and played it to a company that I write TV music for, and they just went, "This is good." And we do an artist side to our label as well. You could put it out for us, and then suddenly I had a home for it, and I thought, hang on a minute, I'm not going to be traipsing around, record labels at this stage of the game. Going, I'm doing a new band. You want to hear my demo? Because I'm not shit business. You'll find out. It's called Jim Brûlé. Yeah. So I thought, no, I'm not doing that. So I wouldn't have done it. I just wouldn't have bothered. But the fact that I knew I had a home for it anyway, regardless, I thought, well, what's the harm in doing it? Is just do it for fun. And I used it as I just used it as an excuse to get in touch with some people that I wanted to get in touch with again. And I think for myself, I just done it for myself as well, more than anything, because I look back at, I'm a nightmare for over-analysing things and thinking back and regretting things. But that's probably that is the reason the album's called what it is. Yeah. And I listen back to some of the stuff I've done in the past, and I'm annoyed with myself. I sort of think, if you'd had your shit together a bit earlier, you could have produced that, or you could have made that sound better. And so I've wanted to do something now because I know that I can do it all myself, and I know I can get it to sound how I want it. Yeah. Because regardless of whether anyone likes this or not or whatever, it's exactly how I wanted it to sound. It's not like I listen back to it and go, oh, it's not quite there. I'm completely happy with it. And, cool. I produced all the tracks, well, apart from the collaborations, obviously, and mixed them all. And I've done it all in my very, very basic studio. You might expect it to be like a spaceship or something, but it's the most bog standard room in the house. It's all really, really basic. So I just felt like I was hitting a little bit of a purple patch where what I was doing was good, and why not do it? And just so I'm not looking back in another 5 years going, you should have pushed yourself a bit, because I feel like I really did push myself on this album to write an interesting album, not like 12 tracks that all sound the same, because my musical taste is so diverse. I listen to loads of different stuff and always have, so I wanted the album to be quite different sounding. So that's why I'm chuffed that it's had a good response on the whole. I'd say 90% of the feedback's been good.
That's good.
I was worried a little bit just because it's quite diverse. So I thought, well, someone might like Ticking Time Bomb and they might hate, I don't know, Now You Know, because it's a little bit more, not pop, but it's a little bit more modern sounding than some of the other stuff. But I think hopefully I struck a bit of a balance. But it's funny, isn't it? Because you always get that thing where you get sort of lazy reviewers or journalists going, oh, well, it's electronic rock, man. That's a bit dated. People have been saying that since 1999, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
People still like it. I feel like this album's a good sort of. It sounds like I've given it a bit of a fresh sort of overhaul on some of the tracks, and I just wanted. I suppose the very short answer, where bearing in mind I've just given you a really fucking long one, is I just wanted to do it for myself, because I felt like I could do it for myself now. I could do it all sat on my arse in my room on my own, in between playing on the PlayStation or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't have to leave the house. I didn't have to get a producer in. I didn't have to. It was a fun process.
That's good. And I mean, it's a solid album. You've got, like, say, you had a bunch of collaborations on there. I already mentioned you had Mark and Jason on there from Pitchshifter.
Yeah.
You've also got a Tut Child, which we mentioned as well a moment ago. And you've got, is it Abby Ailson? Abby Ashleen. Okay.
Yeah. That's actually, this sounds really sad and Yoko Ono, but she's my wife.
Oh, okay.
So, but she was important in getting the whole thing going.
Yeah.
Because she's a really good singer, but she used to sort of say, "Oh, why don't you ever write me a tune?" I was like, "Well, that's because I'm writing for TV to keep a roof over your head, darling."
Yeah, shit business.
Yeah, exactly. But a couple of years ago, she was like, "Just write me a tune, and I'd like to have a go." So I thought, okay, I'll write you a really sort of weird, dark, glitchy thing and see how you get on. Thinking she'd go, "No, that's horrible." But I did the track that ended up being Game of Faces, and then she sort of jumped in the studio and came out with what she came out with, and I thought, that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good. But I didn't know what I was going to do with it, so I just stuck it on my desktop, going in a folder called "Don't Know What to Do with This." And then a couple of months later, I'd been talking to a few people, some of my friends, about why don't you just do some stuff for yourself? And then that folder of "Don't Know What to Do with This" started to develop into an album that I thought is going to be actually all right. And then it developed into something I thought, sod it, I'm just going to put it out because I'm proud of it. So
no, it's really good. It's diverse as well. That was the sort of like main thing I took away from it, because it kind of like you've got that kind of punky vibe and that kind of like high tempo like electronic rock, if you will, sort of sound to it. But then like you have the more sort of like poppy sentiments in there with some of those tracks. And I was like, I was quite, I wouldn't say surprised, but it was just a nice break from like, breaking it up like that and using the elements obviously you had available to you. I think that's a direct, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's a direct result of what I've been doing for the last 10 years, because I do have to write stuff. When I get certain briefs, they might not always be 100% in my ballpark, so I have to sort of do a bit of research, and so I sort of built up a bit of a new skill set, and basically just got into a lot of different styles of music, because I'm always being sent stuff all the time, like new stuff to listen to, and because a lot of the stuff I have to write for TV and film has to have quite a contemporary sound to it, so I'm aware of what's going on, and I got into there's a lot of stuff that I really like. So on certain tracks like Now You Know, it does sound a bit more contemporary, and I mean pop's a shit word, but I know what you mean. It's more
I don't know what a better word for that would be, but yeah, there's definitely some tracks on there that are a bit more contemporary, and it's not just full-on electronic rock, because that would have bored me, and
yeah,
it wouldn't be.
No. So like I said before, it's a good album. It's well structured, and it's got plenty of diversity in there. I really liked Zombies. Was actually one of my favourite tracks as well.
Yeah.
Which is
It's funny you should say that. Yeah, a few people have said that. And the funny thing is, I saw a review, and I try not to. I don't really ever bother with looking at reviews because, I've been doing this for far too long to care about reviews. I caught one little line of something somewhere, and it says like, I was going, on Zombies, he's ranting about the evils of technology, and he's just written an electronic album, how ridiculous. And I was just thinking, you're overthinking it, mate. Yeah, it's just meant completely. To be. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the album lyrically is quite moody, and it is quite dark. And so, if I'm going to do, I always feel uncomfortable writing lyrics and singing, because you feel like you're really, really exposed. And that's not really my thing. So if I was going to do lyrics, they had to mean something to me. So a lot of the album is lyrically quite moody, because the last couple of years have been quite moody, and there's been some shit things that have happened. And I sort of took a bit of, use that a little bit. So yeah, I mean, with Zombies is just a bit of a laugh. It's just me ranting about idiots with phones at the gigs. Just like, I'm not trying to be in depth or deep. There's no hidden meanings. It's just a bit of a rant. It's just a laugh.
No, that's why I liked it. It was that pure like I know where this guy's coming from moment. So it was like
So like I said, I like the fact that some of the moodier tracks are offset with me just being miserable old bastard. And you don't need to overanalyze things. It's just fun.
Yeah, exactly. How did you find doing like the vocals, like the primary vocals for it?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I wouldn't say it's something that comes naturally. I would never say that I'm a singer. And the thing is, I think I'm all right with coming up with melodies, and I'm not bad with lyrics. And I think I just sort of thought, just push. Because at first, when I started the idea of doing this album, I had thought about doing it, me writing sort of 12 tracks instrumentally, and then getting lots of different vocalists in. And then I just had a little word in myself and went, hang on a minute, you're doing that thing that you always do, sort of trying to take trying to alleviate the pressure and get someone else to do it for you because you don't think you can do it yourself. So I just thought, no, you're right, I'm just going to do it myself, because I knew what sound I wanted. I wanted it to sound English and a bit rowdy and, nothing too, I don't know. I think it just fitted.
Yeah.
And after I've done a couple of tracks, there's a few tracks on there that I'm really happy with the vocals on there. The title track, Headwars, and Shadows in Shadows. I think my voice suits it. But yeah, it's not something that comes naturally to me at all. And as far as doing it live, it would give me proper nightmares because I hadn't really considered that I was going to do this live, because that would have changed how I wrote this album from day one, because I would have been stressing about it from day one. Some of the tracks on this album have got so many layers, so many channels running. It's ridiculous. So if in the back of my mind I was thinking, how are you going to do this live? It would have changed how I wrote those songs, because I wouldn't have put that extra sound in, because I thought, well, you can't play that and sing at the same time. And, I'm not a frontman, let's be honest. I'm just not a frontman. I've been very lucky to have been in bands with the best frontmen, and I'm not a frontman. I'm nowhere near self-confident or self-assured to do that. So, but when you're just doing it in the studio and you know that you're not going to be having to do it live, then I think it came out well. And I sort of surprised myself a little bit. I did push myself to sort of really try and come up with some interesting melodies and interesting lyrics that weren't just the same old. I didn't want it to be really cliche bollocks. I wanted it to actually mean something to me, even if it doesn't mean anything to anyone else. I mean, there's obviously some silly tracks on there, like, I say silly, Zombies is just a bit of a rant, and Trigger Finger is just about my gun. When I go shooting, I've got a tutor, a gun tutor, and he's ex-army. So he gives me a lot of grief, which I like. He batters me when I miss. And and just on one occasion, he just turned to me and went, "You know what your problem is, Davies? You've got a loose trigger finger. Don't point both those barrels at me, son. And that just stuck in my head. And I thought, well, that's funny. I'm gonna use that because I'll wind him up.
Nice.
So in amongst the moodier stuff, I like to think there's a few in there that are just for fun. And don't overthink it. But yeah, I'm no Chris Cornell, that's for sure.
Few are, but no. It was like you say, it's like. It doesn't sound like, because a lot of like bands, I'm not going to name any of them, but they do have like a universal sound when it comes to their vocals.
Yep.
Like they're very scared of being their particular like country of origin. Like they'll sound American or they'll sound, that kind of like neutral accent. But when you hear them speak, they're either very British or they've got a very heavy like northern accent or something like that. But
yeah, there's nothing worse than hearing a band. That's why I like bands like Biffy. When you sing along to Biffy, you sound Scottish, don't you?
Yeah,
it's hilarious. When I've got it on in the car, many of harder before I know it, I'm like, I've got my kilt on and I'm with him. I'm walking through the Highlands, and I find myself developing a Scottish accent when so I like that. I love the fact that you can hear how Scottish the band are, and because it'd be shit, wouldn't it, if he started singing like he's from LA.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I mean, I can only sound how I can sound. No, I wasn't really trying to go for anything really.
No, that's what I really liked about the whole the album. When you did take charge of those vocals, it was like it was you. I could tell it was you because I'd heard you speak before, so it sounds like you. Yeah,
so. I wonder what that sounds like.
Yeah, well, you can play this back afterwards if you want. And
oh no, I hate that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in Pitchshifter days, I used to do a few like in the background. John's a really good vocalist. He's a proper singer, but I never really thought. Even when I used to do little bits of backing vocals, I never really trusted myself to do it. I never really thought I could do it. So yeah, it's a weird one, really.
Cool.
But I think a lot of it comes from just there being no pressure. I just thought, well, you're not going to do it live. You're not going to have to sing this note perfect and remember the lyrics and play all these little fiddly guitar bits and be, tap dancing on your pedals like bloody Lionel Blair. I'm going to be able to. I can just sit here and do what I want, and that was the idea, really.
Excellent. Well, I've got a couple of questions left for you, if that's all right, and I can let you get on with the rest of your day. So what I want to find out from you is your... these are sort of my generic questions, by the way, that I ask sort of everyone. But I want to find out your 3 top albums that have kind of shaped your musical career, or even like just in life. What those sort of 3 pivotal albums are.
That's a very good question. Right, okay, well, the first one would be... I'm going to have to think. You're probably going to have to edit this bit.
That's fine.
So you pause it a little bit.
It's all right. Ableton allows me to do all these wondrous things. So
Right, okay. Disintegration by The Cure.
Nice.
Violator, Depeche Mode.
Nice.
How many am I allowed?
3.
And
you can cheat.
Never mind the bollocks.
Okay. Nice. I've had that mentioned a few times actually. The Sex Pistols one. It's a solid album. Never,
Oh, it's just brilliant.
But no, I love the Cure album. I haven't heard anyone say that one before. I love the Cure.
Oh, I love that album.
And Depeche Mode. I love Depeche Mode. Like one of the top bands.
It was funny. Just the other night, me and the missus we sat in the kitchen the other night. I just got absolutely fucking hammered for no reason, and that's 3 weeks of lockdown, and it's disintegrating fast.
Yeah,
and it was a Wednesday night, and we just sat in the kitchen, just got absolutely wankered, and put on Depeche Mode for about 3 hours, and every single song I just sit there and go, oh, so good. Yeah. But anyway, I digress.
No, that's good. My old band did a cover of one of their songs, and I've got what was it? A letter signed by Martin Gore with publishing permissions because we were going to release it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I've got that somewhere in my little vault somewhere, but we never did release it apart from online. So, but they get all the royalties from it. It's one of my big, on my YouTube channel. It's the only one that's got 20,000 hits. So I'm crazy. But finally, what are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not writing stuff for ads and TV shows and whatnot, and your own album, what do you do?
Yep. It's going to sound so uncool, This would be the most un-rock and roll answer you've ever heard.
Go for it.
So, I'm massively into my history. Always have been, but basically military history. So, going from Vikings, Romans, through to World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, you name it, everything. I've just always been into it since I was a kid, and it's just something that's always with me. I do all the battlefield tours. Funny enough, the guy that used to tour manage Pitchshifter actually runs a D-Day tour company over in Normandy. So I go over there every year and we go around and do all the battlefields. I've been to the Somme, done all the trenches and Passchendaele. I've been out. I mean, this is so sad. I've been out there with a metal detector. I've dug up loads of stuff. I came back from Passchendaele with like all these shells. I don't even know if they're unexploded. I've got them in the house. I should probably check. I've got bullets and stuff. So I'm a proper geek. And if I wasn't a musician, this is the saddest thing. I'd probably be one of those like weird blokes on Time Team with the really short denim shorts on with the boys hanging out the barracks. I'd be one of them.
Nice.
I'd love it. So
that's
yeah, I do it.
I was going to say that is really cool. I like that personally.
I'm not sure it's cool, but it keeps me off the streets.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do a lot of shooting, do a lot of clay pigeon shooting. Yeah. Well, I used to when you're allowed outside.
Yeah.
And they're my things really.
Cool. Yeah. No, I've got I stumbled across like in my moving boxes a bunch of my one of my grandfather's like medals. From I think like it was like
wasn't a German one, was it?
No, thankfully no.
Granddad, why have you got an Iron Cross?
Yeah, thankfully, no, it wasn't. It was I think it was from the Korea War.
Oh wow!
And there was like a bunch of like Korean notes in there, like money, really? In there and stuff. So yeah,
it wasn't not a massive amount of British troops went to Korea. So no. That's interesting. See, I'm off already. Off already.
That's all right. Yeah. Cool. Well, Jim, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Pleasure. No, it's been great. It's kept me off Xbox for at least an hour or so, hasn't it? So
that's all right. I'm going to go back to mine in a minute. So it's like, what you say?
I should say something like, I'm gonna go back in the studio, man. Write some more tunes. Yeah,
lay down some riff.
I'm not.
No, fair enough. No, I've got Watch Dogs to play on my Xbox, so I'm going to go do that. So.
But no, thanks very much. I really enjoyed that. That was really good fun.
Yeah, and, no worries.
All the questions were really cool. I look forward to hearing it.
Cool. Good luck with everything, man. And
thank you, Barnaby.
No worries. Have a good one, Jim.
See you, pal.
Bye-bye.